All right, let me sip this coffee real quick. Hey, everybody,
Slurp.
welcome to my tutorial on editing tips, how to speed up your edit. God, I fucking hate those people, AJ. They exist. Did you know that? Most tutorials.
I know, we've talked about it. We talk about it like every 2 or 3 months on this.
I know, and it
podcast.
fucking it just fucking irks me. It hits this primal chord in my heart, and is like, I just go feral. I get foamed at the mouth. That my fangs
What are you
grow.
going to do when it hits you to do that on your channel?
I will never do that. I will never do that in my life, because you know why? Because I'm not a heretic. Okay.
But what if you do? You figure you're gonna do a bunch of those videos, and then like one day you're just gonna be like, I need something.
AJ,
you know
AJ,
what? It's simple. It's easy to give them a hey guys, let's get to it slurp.
If I ever send you a rough edit of an edit I'm doing, and I open with a take me out to the pasture, dude. Take me out to the pasture and come back alone. That's all I'm saying, dude.
I will understand. Take me out there and just do it.
But it's not. But it's like that scene from Air Bud where it's the pudding cup. Do you remember that?
What? With the pudding cup?
Oh God, I thought you were gonna get this reference because Air Bud.
I've never seen Air Bud.
Oh my God, there's this super depressing scene where he has to get rid of the dog, and the dog loves like vanilla pudding cups. So it's like the scene from Old Yeller where he's like, "Go on,
does he kill the dog with an Air Bud?"
He doesn't kill the dog, but he leaves the dog like out in the middle of fucking like nowhere, like out in the boonies, and he's just like, the dog won't leave him alone. So what he does is he just rips a pudding cup, lets the dog lick it a little bit, and then he just throws the pudding cup, and then the dog runs away, and he's like, I gotta get out of here. And
wait,
then,
why does he ditch the dog? The dog can do basketball or baseball or football. Or soccer. I don't remember what the first Air Bud sport game is.
You know what? I want to say you're wrong, but you're not, because like the first one was basketball, but then it did go on to do Air Buddies, which was football, and then
he had a dog that could jump, and a dog that could not only jump. Sorry, any dog can jump. He had a dog that can dunk, and he thought, gotta get rid of it. Was he about to lose his scholarship to the dog? What could possibly lead someone to be I gotta get rid of this dunking dog?
Dude, I have no fucking clue. I have no clue.
Oh my God, what a stupid person.
This is actually giving me a fun idea. You and I should watch Air Bud. We'll do like an annual thing where we just get together and watch an Air Bud movie. we just call it Buds.
On Air Buds.
on Air Buds. Oh my God, you fucking nailed it. Oh my God.
But are we gonna do a watch podcast of the Air Bud movies?
There's like 20 of them, dude.
I know.
There's like so fucking many of them. Okay, hold on. How many? Oh God, I was so excited. I typed everything with numbers. How many Air Bud movies?
We're counting Air Buddies, right?
Yeah, this is counting Air. There's 12 Air Bud movies, dude. There's Air Bud, Air Bud Golden Receiver, Air Bud World Cup, Air Bud's 7th inning. What is that? 7th inning fetch? Oh God, dude, they go to space. They go to space.
No, they don't. There's no space sports.
Space Bud. Yeah, I know. There's no space sports. There's another one where they're all Indiana Jones. There's one where they're all Santa. There's one where why the fuck? There's one where they all have superpowers. What the fuck is happening?
God, I miss the days when we could just have a movie about a dog doing sports, huh? So hold on, are you telling me that while we've been watching the constant growth and the escalation of the Fast and the Furious team, there has also been a constant growth and exponential power creep on Air Buddies?
Yeah, the most recent Air Bud movie is them that they're superheroes. So, I mean, actually, AJ, I think they've been kind of power creeping at the same level, because there are canonically superheroes in the Fast and the Furious universe.
Yeah, we just had Black Superman.
We just had that was such a I forgot.
That was a line somebody wrote down and said, we're going to have this. And then some white guy on a podcast is going to repeat it and think to himself, am I allowed to say that?
Do you think Idris Elba is like really pumped about that line, or is like who the fuck wrote this? Then he looks at the writer, is like, all right, you look like the kind of guy that would write this.
I have to assume that everybody on the set for the Fast and the Furious movies is like the most hyped they could possibly be. Like, they are just agreeing to anything left and right, and every single idea is dope as hell. They're like, all right, and the line is Black Superman. Yeah. And then you catch a car. Yeah. And then you do a barrel roll, and as you're barrel rolling, you have a machine gun on the top of the car, and you're not going to get the barrel roll all the way. So you swing the machine gun to the left, and then start firing the machine gun, and the recoil makes you spin a second time.
All right.
Yeah.
I have something fucking wild to share with you. Two white guys wrote Hobbs and Shaw. So
Whoa, imagine my surprise.
And also, the guy who wrote Wanted wrote Hobbs and Shaw. Remember that fucking movie?
Yo, that's also a movie I haven't watched, but a movie I know would be absolutely my flavor. They curve the bullets in that movie.
They curve the bullets, and there's a video game that's circling back. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Spiritual Successor, a sometimes video game movie talk podcast.
Are we on air now? Or are we just going to roll right in? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, hey, dude, we got to talk about Air Buddies. That's a good 6 minutes spent. We talked about Air Buddies. We talked about the Hobbs and Shaw series. We talked about now we're talking about the video game Wanted. Apparently that video game was pretty fucking cool too, because the whole time you're just curving bullets. You're like a Spec Ops character just on cool ass missions.
A character action shooter. Hell yeah, but this time good. Vanquish.
Hey, don't call me out like that. That was specifically to call me out. I love that game.
Also, it's a fine game. I got problems with the systems.
It's better than Nier Automata.
I'm gonna attack you. You're lucky we're in different states. Also, it's not a character action. That's not a character action shooter. That's not a character action shooter. Try again. Bring me something more germane.
Well, you have a little buddy that shoots, so yeah, I would say it's a character action shooter.
And then sometimes it turns into a little twin stick shooter because you go from the top down, and then sometimes it's a side scroller, and sometimes it's a shmup. God, that game rules. I don't understand how you don't like it. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Spiritual Successor, a comedy video game design podcast where we take your horrible, nasty, cursed video games from all over the internet and turn them into the next AAA titles. I am your host, AJ Hart.
I am your other host, Blake Rea.
Blake, I have a submission for us.
All right, hell yeah, break us in, bro.
This relates directly to our Wanted blurb. This comes from Adequate Orange at Adequate Orange on Twitter. People love meta things, so we need a video game adaptation of an adaptation. So what if we did Wanted, the movie, the game, the movie?
Wait, no, this has happened before. There was a video game. Wasn't there movies based on the game or something like that? Like, because there were like, wasn't there? No, it didn't happen to the Doom series. Because for some reason I was thinking that, because there was like the Doom games, and then the Doom movie happened with Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
No, the new Doom movies are in fact based on the Dwayne The Rock Johnson movie. That's true.
Doom Eternal. Yeah, I love the part where Doom guy just shows up on screen, is like, "Can you smell?" And he's just like fucking.
Well, I can point you to my evidence. There's a point in the movie where it's all like first person, and like the guy's running through a hallway.
What
and
a dumb fucking
what is the Doom Eternal gameplay look like? What does Doom 20 whatever look like?
He's running through hallways in first person. Yeah. No,
does he have like a really big gun too? Like a real big gun?
It's a real big gun.
I've cracked the code. You're welcome.
Shit. No, I have to feel like there's games based on movies. I feel like there has to be something.
Because what I'm looking for Detective Pikachu, the movie, the game.
Oh, yeah. That's like, yeah, I feel like that's happened before, right? There's like, hey, a movie came out based on a game, but it also had a game paired with it. And I feel like that's happened before. I just don't really. It feels like an early 2000s move, like where they were making the MXC versus MTV Unleashed and all the Monster Energy drink games.
When are we getting the MXT versus ATV movie? That been done in Fast and the Furious yet?
God, that would be that. I feel like that would be an offshoot. It'd be like the next Hobbs and Shaw, where they're like, yeah, we're going to Costa Rica, where they live and die by the ATV. You know what I'm saying?
And you're going there with nothing but a motorcycle. What? You know what's funny is if they did that and just brought the stakes way down, we would all be saying they made like the new best Fast and the Furious movie.
You think so? You don't think dude? They're going to space the next movie. I don't know if like they're gonna be able to top that.
What if they just brought it way down? What if they just brought it way down for us the next one?
I think here's the thing. I think they tried doing
Dominic
that with
Toretto's just trying to have a good goddamn day for once in his life. Dominic Toretto is attempting to avoid the CIA for 58
I feel like they were trying
hours.
to. I feel like they were trying to do that with Hobbs and Shaw, and then realized that was a boring as fuck movie compared to all the other Fast and the Furious movies. And then they were like, "All right, I guess Idris Elba's a superhuman now. That's what this movie needs because we can't do down to earth movies anymore." I don't know. Like that's the thing I love and hate about the Fast and the Furious movies because they're just like, "All right, the next movie, how the fuck can we up the ante on it?" And
I want Fast and the Furious, the game of the movie.
The game of the movie. Okay, so are you saying how would you do that then?
I think if this is going to work, we need to pick an IP that we know we would be able to have a little bit of fun with. And I cracked the joke earlier, but what if we did do Detective Pikachu, the movie, the game?
I have not seen Detective Pikachu, so
you haven't seen Detective Pikachu?
No, I haven't. I know it's really shitty of me.
That's horrifying, but also perfect because what are video game adaptations? Really loose, honestly. Blake, what do you think Detective Pikachu is about? And let's go ahead and make a game on that.
You know, no, I like this. I like this a lot because usually the writers of these things have no idea what the original series is about.
Exactly.
So I'm coming in like a proper Hollywood professional. All right, so we got a detective that their name is Pikachu. It's voiced by what's his name?
Deadpool.
Not Deadpool. It's not Deadpool. It's the Trash Man. That guy.
Danny DeVito.
It's voiced by Danny DeVito.
Yes.
And then I guess every Pokemon is furry. I remember that being a weird like thing that people were
all the
angry
Pokemon
about.
have fur. That's why they're all so huggable and fun.
Even like I remember seeing a clip of Charizard and he had fur, and I was like, that's a little weird.
He looks more scaly in the movie though.
Oh, really? Did they fix that like in the final thing? Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it was just a bad trailer, but continue. What do you think the story is? We need to get to the meat and potatoes of what this game would be.
Our main character, their dad died, and somehow Pikachu is tied to that dad. So they're both trying to find the dad. So here's the thing I'm thinking, because I just got done playing Sinking City. Loved that game all the way until the end. Man, that ending sucks ass, and I'm so upset about it. But it had a really, really interesting mechanic. Frogware, they made like a lot of the Sherlock Holmes crimes and punishments. Lots of like they also did like Criminal Minds, those like investigative games. And
Criminal Minds, the game, the show. That'd be cool too, but we're doing Detective Pikachu. What do you have as a gameplay thing? Hit me.
I'm thinking they go to crime scenes, and like I think I talked about this on a previous episode of the podcast, but the way the Sinking City does it is you have to find evidence, and then in a sub menu called the Mind Palace, you have to take different pieces of evidence and like connect them to other pieces of evidence. So it'll be like, hey, they went to the office of this kid's dad or his old office or something, and they find, hey, there's a post-it note that the corner's torn on it, and then you find another piece in the trash that's slightly burnt that has part of an address, and you combine those two pieces of evidence and be like, oh, this letter matches this address, that takes us to our next location. And
that'd be cool.
And then it's Pokemon, so we obviously need a battle in there, right? So I'm thinking this game is you start out with Pikachu. He's your starter detective, and each detective has different detective abilities. Like Sherlock Holmes is known to have like the 12 most insane detective abilities, like the power of observation, the power of connecting the dots, or other,
the power of detective terms. Telekinesis is also a power that he has, and also the power of great violence. Those are also another things he's got.
Wait a second. Aren't there some Pokemon that are like that have control over dreams and thoughts? Couldn't you like
some of them do.
Oh my god, I wonder if you get a Pokemon that's like the interrogation Pokemon, and there's just one scene that's really uncomfortable to watch in this
Okay,
kid
what if there was a
Pokemon's-
Pokédex entry that was just like, oh, the interrogation Pokemon? Maybe there already is, and that's what like Snubble is, right? Maybe Snubble, if you look at it right now, it's the interrogation Pokemon.
Oh my god. Pokemon's
So you want to
kinda
do like
fucked
a
up in
fun
way.
little like world adventure where you run around town, you get Pokemon, and different Pokemon can help you find different clues, and it's maybe like a little bit of a Metroidvania because you got to go get
Yes.
new detectives, bring them back to old crime scenes. I like that. I can dig that.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't even think about that. The idea of like you can't unlock everything in a crime scene in one go. But doesn't that get a little bit complicated because I'm sure some crime scenes will get compromised over the course of the game? Like, hey, you
Yeah,
gotta go
and
back
like
to
you'll
this
have
crime.
like a little narrative thing where like maybe you get a Snubble and it can hunt people down, but like you can't take him back to this crime scene. So now you got to go back to the office to where you have all the evidence, and then you get Snubble to sniff it all there, and then you could get to the next zone.
And also
Man,
you
you could
could
have a lot of fun with a lot of cool Pokemon stuff, couldn't you?
Yeah, I feel like Pokemon are pretty OP when it comes to like tracking shit down. Cause like if you had a Rotom, he could just like take over an entire like security system. Be like, yeah, I want to see everything that was on the security cams. Rotom, can you go in there and just like look at everything for me? So that's what I'm thinking is like that's the idea of coming back to crime scenes. You just like with new Pokemon, you unlock completely new ways to see the crime scene. Like
Yeah,
maybe
hey, I have a question. How come with all the Pokemon out there, the Pokemon that we have to identify as like the police officer dog Pokemon is like Arcanine, when it could be Rotom? Like you're so much right, like or you're so correct. There should be no crime in the Pokemon world on account of Rotom existing.
I don't think there is. Like I think that's the whole point of it's like this weird utopian sort
That
of
would
like
explain why
everything
they
is
let
perfect.
10-year-olds just run around the world, huh? But
Yeah,
but Team Rocket exists.
Team Rocket I mean, yeah, but like what if they ever really achieved like in all of the 9 games they have never really done anything that like ended the world. If anything, it's like the god Pokemon that threatened the world and they're just like, yeah, we're here for the ride, man. Like they don't do anything. Literally, the last game, it was just a bunch of punk rockers being like, yeah, we're here to support Marnie. That's our whole vendetta this whole game.
Well, look, I'm talking about different teams. Look. Team whatever, the blue team from Sapphire and Ruby, they did commit bioterrorism. They did create the end of the world in the Great Flood, and that was a big fuck up on their part. And their leader admits it. Archie's like, oopsie, my bad. But Team Rocket is a criminal organization, and it has been around, and I do think it is wild that nobody has stopped that in the world that exists. Like,
So
you could just
is
go
this-
have Machoke beat the heck out of the Team Rocket leader.
So would you say this game is maybe about, like, that's the thing we're solving in this game? It's like
Team
it
Rocket
starts
has to be an inside job, dude.
Well, what I'm thinking
That's the
is
only
it's-
way it gets away with it. Yeah, so you play like an undercover FBI that's like, you're like a roguish child, a roguish detective boy
A roguish
whose dad
detective
has
boy.
been disappeared, and you're going deep undercover to find out where your dad has gone. And during your adventure, you find out that Team Rocket is tied intrinsically to the law and order system of the Poke world. You have to stop it.
Interesting.
One boy, one Pikachu, and also the 151 other Pokemon you catch. Blake, you have another submission for me?
I do have another submission for us. All right, this one comes to us on Reddit from Chromenti, a war game themed around chefs and food armies. All right, AJ, here's the big thing. I know you don't know a whole lot about wargaming right now, but like one of the big complaints is that there's so much fucking paint out there. There's so many like little things that just don't really describe what they're like. Mephiston red. Okay, what is that? Back in like the 90s, back in like prime time wargaming, like there was just, hey, this is brown. Hey, this is red. So like a lot of people are a little bit weirded out by the paint, and I want to revolutionize wargaming as we know it. Scratch and sniff paints. Stick with me here. There is an idea of like, if we were to do this game, what if you did where every paint is like a different like spice or some sort of topping or ingredient. So you have like, hey, there's this green. It's what's a green?
Lime. Green apple?
Green. There you go. Green apple. Or basic, you have tomato red, or you have Alfredo white. Alfredo isn't white, is it? It's more of like a
Yeah,
yellowy.
it's white. Oh, no, I'll give it to you.
It's white. It's like an off-white.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is if that's the first thing about this game is every paint is scratch and sniff, and that's gonna be so weird at conventions because everybody's like, "Hey, can I smell your army?" And they just go like piece by piece and just like scratch your fucking your chef hero, and they just sniff it like, "Oh, this is tomato red. This is quite
Oh,
delicious."
is that a pesto? You got a pesto army in there? Interesting.
So now we have to get into every paint. That's like the first idea I had. So scratch and sniff paints. The next is how do we do different armies? I think different armies are different cultures' foods. So you have the Italian army. So it's like a lot of the stuff is like Italian themed, and then you have let's say New Orleans, like a New Orleans themed army, because New Orleans food is fucking delicious. They have man, I still want to.
Now is this going to cause like some sort of like problem with the army building, or can I have a Thai themed army and make it all pesto colored and flavored?
Yeah, that's what fusion restaurants are for.
Okay, cool. Yep, that's why fusion restaurants exist. Thank you.
So you have these fusion armies that basically I don't know, like it would be just like would combat be, maybe it's not combat.
So you want to do like hold on. I do like it being a combat game. So you have this top-down food-themed war game, right? You have to buy your little figures, you have to buy your little paints and your flavorings, and you go to your fun conventions and everybody puts all their pieces on a table and they start fighting. Here's where I want to change things a little bit. Not only can you get kills, well, here's what I think. I think that the thing that all of these Total War games lack and is, of course, the thing that makes all tactics games interesting. Blake, it needs permadeath.
Needs permadeath? Oh,
I'm proposing to you that these paints are not only scratch and sniff.
Oh, shit.
These paints are flavored, and the little dudes are edible. And I think that if you kill somebody's soldiers, you should be allowed to gobble them up.
Oh no! But it's exactly the same price as Warhammer. So like 5 guys, like what is it? Like
if you lose your $27 agent, and I get to gobble up your incredible Thai pesto fusion sergeant, yummy, yum, chomp, chomp, chomp.
Tastes like
then you have to
curry.
pay another
delicious.
$27 little sergeant. Yeah.
Oh, the fucking buy-in for this is awful. Oh God. Could you do a thing?
What I love about this is thematically we can create a different kind of idea, because, you know, I think that what's so good about different tabletop games and like real buy games is like we all love lore stuff, right? Like, you know, Magic the Gathering was about us being like summoners or rift walkers or whatever the fuck. And like Yu-Gi-Oh is about us being cool Yu-Gi-Oh card players in a kick-ass tournament. And in this cool game where you get to eat your pieces, we get to play the role of giant kaiju overlords guiding over our tiny armies. And when we get to eat them, thematically and narratively, that is us eating somebody with our incredibly large kaiju bod.
God, the tournaments would be so fucking wild. You know why? Because like you have to make sure your army can get to the end of the tournament. Like, because you could start the tournament with your whole ass army, and then guess what? You just have one fucking battalion and your leader by the end of the tournament. So like, there's this whole like idea of like, oh, who's in the final match? Like, who's better like equipped for the final match? Because you have some people that are like really good at defense and their their attack is shit, but they never lose pieces because they just are really, really good at defending points.
Yeah, they're really good at like normal tactics shit, right? They're like good at that. Well, I'm more interested in, Blake Rea, is the bad manners that can come out of a game where you have to eat your opponent's players, because just imagine the joy you would get when you beat somebody's like whole team and you get to gobble up their general, and then you get to stand up up and you push your belly out really big and you like kind of put your hands on your belly and you go, oh, I'm so full. Like
Just
the
the
bad
fucking
manners that you'll get to do is so choice, right?
See,
Like
I love
maybe
this.
you
Oh
start
my
having
God.
like a little thing of toothpicks with you, and so after every time you gobble up someone's piece, you grab another toothpick and you start picking your teeth. Like,
No,
yummy,
no,
yummy,
AJ,
yummy.
no, AJ,
The bad
AJ, you
manners,
snap-
dude.
you
The
s-
way you can get people to tilt. I have a particular set of skills being a big brother, and that is eating things annoyingly at my little sister. So I would be so good at being a bastard at these play sessions.
Well, there's two things here. One, instead of toothpicks, you know what I would do? Because a lot of units have swords. I would just snap their hand off and use that little sword as a toothpick right in front of. Like I'd snap that, just all this hard work that they put into that figurine, and I'm just picking my teeth with the remnants of their army.
I would do a thing where I would
Also-
grab somebody's little unit and I'd put it in my teeth and I'd start to squeeze the teeth down, but then I would start to look like I'm working really hard at it, and I'm like, and I'd be like, oh my god, he's so strong. But my mouth would be full, so I'd be like, oh my god, he's so strong. And then I'd be like, and then I'd make a big yelling noise as I made the final crunch on their little dude after he was trying to hold my cool jaw
And
closed
all
or
the
open.
fucking pieces like explode out of your mouth onto the war zone
And
in
then
front of you.
imagine the bad manners you could do when you get somebody sergeant and you put it in your mouth and then you start making chewing like motions and then you open your mouth and stick your tongue out and the little dude's still on it. And the person's like, he lived, and you're like, and then you actually chew it. The bad manners, dude. This game rules just because of the taunts.
Also, bad manners or smack talk is a pretty good name for this game, because smack like implies like you smack your lips when you eat. So like smack talk is pretty applicable.
Bad manners isn't bad. Might I propose table manners?
Table manners. Interesting. Okay, I like that. That's good. All right, you got a game?
Of course I got another game. This comes from I Am Not Witty Enough for a Funny Name at ARP1033. A JRPG that harvests the player's personal data and makes NPCs and bosses based off real people they know, and then blackmails the player. Now, I feel like the first part is really simple, right? Like, you know, we use our technology that we all have at our fingertips and we just start gathering people's emails and information. We start plugging in all that good data, and we know exactly who your friends are on your different social platforms. And thanks to this video game, you've sat down to play this video game. You've put in like 87 hours to get to the tutorial because it's a JRPG. You're plucking away, and then what's this right in front of you? Oop, there's your dad. As a boss.
Okay.
Now, this is
interesting.
where
Okay.
the delectable stuff gets going. This is where we have to start talking about the blackmail system. And I feel like a couple good pieces of blackmail you could get on your players, of course, like, you know, the romance paths that they would do, how long it took them to get through the tutorial. Took them 87 hours. Jesus Christ.
Ugh.
But what I'm far more interested in...
Sounds like you when you're playing Final Fantasy 14. It takes about 40 hours for that.
Final Fantasy
tutorial to be
14
done.
does have like an 87-hour tutorial. It is a tutorial all the way up through almost the end of the base game. That is not a joke. That is how long it takes for that game to get good. But I'll be damned if it does not become absolutely a joy after that point. But I digress. The evidence in blackmail that I want to get, Blake, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell on you to your dad if we don't do blank. But what sort of data am I going to get? I want to know how fast and how quickly you're prepared to attack this NPC that looks exactly like your dad. As soon as you enter the room, a timer goes on, and if it takes you like 4 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're already in the boss fight, boom, that data's there. And I put up on the chalkboard, on the digital chalkboard, Blake Ray waited 4 seconds before attacking their dad, and now the real data comes in. How many times do you attack your dad? You attack your dad 178 times. Okay, well, we know that much. Now, how long did you air juggle your dad? Damn, you air juggled the dad so hard. You really put a smackdown on that dad.
You know, I have a pitch for you that I'm wondering would add a little bit of layers to this. So you're saying, just so I'm on the same page as you, there are enemies in the game, that's when they spawn, they carry with them some sort of piece of blackmail on you.
No,
and
the
if you aren't able
enemy
to...
spawns and it looks exactly like somebody you know in the real world. Everything that you do to that character in the fictional video game is put onto a data file. I'm going to know every single time you are mean to this NPC that looks exactly like me. I saw that you didn't give my character the last pudding cup. That's going on the board.
See, I don't know if there are real stakes in that, because like if I found out, okay, you're playing this game and you beat the shit out of a character that looks like me, I'd be like, huh, that's funny, and then I'm done.
You wouldn't be concerned if you found out that I was prepared to kill an NPC that looked exactly like you and had your voice within 3 seconds? That wouldn't put you off, huh?
No, because like that's the game.
That's because we've played a lot of Among Us, huh?
Yeah,
you and I are just conditioned to murder each other.
Used to backstabbing each other. I mean, to be fair, and I'm gonna go on a little rant here. You and I are tight as fuck when it comes to Among Us. It's everybody else in our group that likes to lump you and I together, being like, "Oh, we don't know who did it. It has to be one of the Suck boys who fucking murdered." And that was like last night. We were playing Among Us with a bunch of our friends, and just like every time that everybody was unsure about like, oh, who could have done it? I guess we'll just 86 one of AJ or Blake. And
now you're making a big fit about it, and I feel like it's lacking context. In everybody's
I did murder a lot last night.
In everybody's defense, last night while playing Among Us, you were the imposter 4 times in a row. Eventually, we did just have to start assuming that you were the imposter.
Yeah. I'm getting mad for you, buddy. I care about you. I don't know why they were targeting you. And by proxy also me. But I care about you, man.
So what sort of data do you think would really work? Like a video game blackmail that we could use to tell on somebody? If not, how quickly they're prepared to attack and destroy somebody that looks exactly like their friends.
I feel like the blackmail and like how willing you are to kill somebody, an NPC or an enemy that looks like somebody near and dear to your heart. I feel like those are two different things. I feel like we can play this a little bit more creatively. So it spawns in people, NPCs that that look like people near and dear to your heart. But if you kill them, it deletes them on all of your social media. So guess what? I kill you in this game. You and I aren't friends on Facebook anymore. I don't follow you on Twitter. And then I have to have an awkward conversation of like, yeah, I had to kill you. And all this stuff because I needed to protect my own personal information. Something like that. Could that work?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. I love this. So what this could be is, what if this is a tactics JRPG, right? Like a Fire Emblem or something like that, where if you have a unit, I get a spawned in unit that looks exactly like you. Maybe it's Fire Emblem. Maybe it's like a XCOM type game. Because we all love to like make XCOM characters that look exactly like our friends.
Yeah.
You do something like that, and then you link that person to a social media platform. If you die, then yes, absolute, total, complete block on both parties. Like if I create an NPC of you and I've like identified it as you, and we verified that your Twitter account is this, or the internet game has verified that your Twitter handle is this through the game data. If you die in this game, you and I are disconnected on Twitter forever.
Oh my God.
Complete block.
Yeah, you have to create you have to put in your Twitter information at the beginning of the game.
Yes.
So it's like
you have to put in like your Twitter, your Facebook. Yes, it automatically gets all your contact information. People spawn in, they're exactly like all of your mutuals, your friends on Facebook, your email contact list. Your boss spawns into the game.
Goodness.
And if your boss dies in the game, you're not getting any more company emails.
Oh no, so it can eventually get to your work?
Of course it's going to get to your work. We're on the back end. We're in like the data cloud management, whatever. This is a Google Stadia game.
So if you were to, let's just like look at the extreme of this. If you were to lose all of your contact information and all that's left is you, does it then delete all of your contact info? Like every email, every subscription, every email thing you have, it just deletes it. like all of your accounts basically.
No, I don't think we'll go so far as to destroy somebody's specific account. We're going in to destroy people's bonds.
Oh, okay. It's fucked up. I love it.
Because if we destroy their email, where would we send all of our junk email? You know what I mean? The goal is just simply that if I've created a video game and my cousin dies in the game, then for all intents and purposes in the digital age, my cousin's died in the real internet.
Oh shit. Okay. I dig that. You want me to give you another game?
Yes, and I do want to put a pin in this one because I think we've got some legs with that concept. Hit me.
Okay. All right, this one comes to us on Twitter from AlleyCat at Millennium Hoo-Ha. House hunting, parentheses, take this as literally as possible. All right, we've talked about Monster Hunter and how it's always very fun that you get to go kill monsters and collect basically parts for your outfit. What if you had to do that, but you're hunting the monster house from Monster House? Remember that movie?
Yeah, of
where
course
it's just
I
like a house
remember
that has
Monster
like
House.
yeah. So you have to, if you want to redecorate your house, you have to go hunt other houses that are out and about and moving. They basically look like God, what's her name? The Baba Yaga, where it's her house, but it has like chicken legs on the bottom of it. So
I was thinking of
moving.
Monster House Final Fantasy VII, but I think that we're both in the same realm of like houses that have legs. Which
So
I do agree. Like, there's something about houses with legs that just makes me very violent.
That's not the route I thought you were gonna go, but okay.
Where did you think I was gonna go?
I don't know. I didn't know you're gonna go like extremely violent. But here's the stank I want to put on it: is your house can get up and leave too. And I'm wondering if you could do a thing where people can be hunting your house while you're out hunting other people's houses. So there is like an element of like, that
everybody
person has
has
really
yes. Everybody has their own house that like has its own brain and its own routed AI and its own pathing. You have to go out, slay other people's houses, bring back those drops, upgrade your house so it has better defenses, better speed, better offensive, better power. Then you go out, you find somebody else's house, you kill them. Yes. I'm imagining then that this game plays. I'm gonna rip if you don't mind. We all love kind of like battle royale type games. So there's something very fascinating about launching a game, starting from the beginning and going all the way to the end, right? This is why we love roguelites. This is why we love battle royales. This is why we love games like that. What I want to do, but the problem that we have with a lot of roguelites and stuff like that is that they're so short, right? If we could have roguelikes that are like 6 to 8 hour adventures. So what I'm proposing is
just play Hades, man. That game will get you like a 20-hour game.
But the runs are always still so short, right? What I want to do is I want to create an arena where when you launch in with your house that has legs, you're launching into an arena with a bunch of other players for a match that is expected to last 5-6 hours as you upgrade your house, make it better and stronger, and kill other people's houses.
So this is like a game of Civ. Because like Civ, like those games
it's
can
like
go
a game
3-4
of Civ,
hours.
yes, but again, but like with action elements, you go out, you fight people's houses, you kill their houses, you bring it back.
Let me ask you. Let me pitch you on this. So you start the game like this is how you win the game. You start the game with like you live in a shack, and the whole point is you're trying to grow your house into a mansion. If you can get enough resources, design elements, materials, whatever, and grow your house to become the best, biggest house, you win the game.
Yes.
And the way you do that is there are other houses or other people's houses that you can raid, and those always give you the best material, but there has to be like other like AI houses out in the wild of varying scale. So there will be it's a Monster Hunter, but everybody has their own pet monster with them.
Yeah,
basically.
And it's not necessarily with you, right? Like you could maybe set it up with its little AI menu and say like, I want you to take this path, just walk around this forest forever. The house will always be moving. You can't stop that. That's for certain.
Let me pitch you. It works like Pokemon do. So like like when you get a Pokemon that you're not a high level enough trainer to use yet, it doesn't listen to you. So the game starts and it's just its own thing. Like it'll only take the food or materials that you give it. That's the only way it listens to you. Everything else, it just picks its own path. But as you start leveling it up, it'll start taking some orders from you. So it'll be like, hey, I want you to stay within this region. when you level up to maybe like a 1-story, sorry, a 1-story 2-bedroom house. And then once you upgrade to like a 3-bedroom house, 2-bathroom, it'll be like, okay, you can start telling me where exactly you want me to be, but I won't attack for you. I won't listen to, if you want me to go attack another house, I won't listen to that. But once you start getting towards like the higher end like houses, it'll be like you can start piloting it like it's a fucking Titan from Titanfall.
I was just thinking Titan from Titanfall. I love this idea that as the game gets further, you'll eventually get like one of 3 commands you can give it, and it's like defend, in which case it'll set up like its own perimeter that it will defend. You can do follow, in which case it will always continue following you. Or there's maybe a third one of just random, where it will go out, or hunt. You'll set it to hunt, and it will go in directions of what it believes other houses to be. Those are the 3 kind of commands that you can give it at random. You still play as a player running around trying to hunt down other people's houses to destroy them. I want to talk about the gameplay and how this game looks and feels. You mentioned Titanfall, and I'm very interested in that game's movement system. But maybe we could go a little bit further. Can we take Titanfall, double down on grappling hooks, double down on jump pads, and maybe kind of just... Hey, how's it going, Attack on Titan? Yoinky. I want the attack. I want to take Titanfall's movement system and add in enough grappling hooks and boosters to make it Attack on Titan. Can we do this for our House Hunter game?
Let me pitch you on this, because I'm trying to think of like, I think the easiest way we can tackle this is like we look at this as lore wise. Like, why are these houses on legs? That's because the general area is a swamp. It's flooded. So all the houses need to be elevated. So you're constantly swinging from tree to tree, other houses that are being elevated via swamps. You're constantly, the floor is lava situation in this game. So there's like, if you land in the water, you basically, it's not that you die instantly, or maybe you do and you just spawn back at your house, and that's like the gameplay loop of like, you can go do this whole run.
I think that the ground is just super bad terrain that's like difficult to cross and difficult to like get over and around. Like, it's a bunch of destroyed shrubbery and swamp water. I don't think you die. I do think you get stuck for a little bit, and maybe you have to wait a little bit for your gas and nozzles to recharge before you can take to the skies again.
Yeah.
But I don't want to remove the ground from gameplay, because there's all sorts of good tactics you can have with lying in wait. Perhaps you were lying in wait on the ground nearby your house, waiting for an attacker to come by. And then when they do, hiya! You trip their house.
Texture, biome wise, what are you thinking? Is this like, because the 2 things I've been going back and forth between is it feels like a abandoned like village versus like an abandoned mega city.
We can have them both. We can have like a bunch of big biomes that are maybe randomly generated. I'm imagining this game, if I could put this into like a single sentence, this game is PvP Howl's Moving Castles.
Oh, that's a good visual. Fuck yeah. Sweet. Okay. And then, but it has the movement of Titanfall. So my next question is, what are the weapons in this game? Is this like Monster Hunter, where it's purely like old-timey like crossbows, lances, spears, fucking swords, or is this like you also have guns? Or could it be both, which could actually be a really fun aesthetic?
It's absolutely both. I think that what it is like there's 2 different types of weapons. There's ranged weapons and there's destruction weapons. Your destruction weapon slot can be maybe some bombs, maybe spears, maybe mallets, maybe hammers, maybe axes, which will all have their own different type advantages.
AJ. No. All of our fucking melee weapons are construction tools. What the fuck are we talking about? It's like fire axes, sledgehammers. You also have those sweet little they're these like little, I don't know how to describe them, but they're like a stud like thing where that takes like a 22 caliber bullet that you have to put in, and that's how you put studs into concrete. You can have one of those and it works like just like a one shot like ranged weapon or something like that.
Yeah. But I love this idea that like, it's construction tools as your melee, and then you have your ranged weapons, which will be like your guns and stuff, so that you can attempt to shoot down other players. Now, I agree with you proposed the idea of spawning back in your house. Absolutely. You spawn back into your house every time you die.
And here's the thing. You can basically just add a little bit even more stank on this. One of my favorite games right now is the Hunt Showdown. I've talked about it a bazillion times on the show. But the idea is that it's permadeath. So whatever gear you take out with you is like that you don't If you die, you don't get it back. So you have to play this game. No. Hear me out. You have to check. You have your storage box in your house, and you could be like, okay, what weapons do I want to take with me? What weapons do I want to leave here? Like, what am I going to go do specifically? So, because you only have like a ranged weapon slot and a melee slot. Of course, you can grab things while you're out on your like material hunting adventures, bring it back, and then that increases like, okay, what options do you have in your storage? What materials do you have to build
so you're
with?
proposing that like I'm out in the world, I kill somebody, they drop their pile bunker. I can grab that pile bunker, take it back to the house with me, put it in the game's storage unit. So for this round,
yes.
again, because we propose the idea that this is going to be a long-term game, right? This isn't a you load in, you're playing for 10 minutes, then you're out. Like people can have long-term strategies and say, hey, for the first 2 or 3 hours of this game session, I'm going to be running around as a scavenger. And then in the second half, I'm going to be running around with the pile bunker to blow chunks off. So you can kill somebody with their pile bunker, take it back to your house, throw it in storage for a couple hours until you decide that you need it later on in the session. I want this game to have like the game that I'm kind of chasing the rush of with this long-term rogue-like energy. It's not roguelike, but long-term battle royale is Risk of Rain, because Risk of Rain runs can go for a couple of hours. I want to capture that. So yes, this idea of a storage in your house that you can take in and out, but that's not account tied, it's match tied.
And then you know what you could do too is like maybe if it's in that storage, it's untouchable. So like that's the one thing people can't get into is like if they kill you while you're out and about, anything you're carrying on you or anything they knock off of your physical house they can take. But if it's in your storage box, it's like the storage box in Fallout 76. Nobody else has access to it but you.
Yes.
So it gives you a little bit of like you won't be 3 hours in and then you suddenly lose everything. It's just like, okay, you took a hit and you got to rebuild a lot of shit and that costs a lot of resources, but at least you're not starting from the get-go. And one thing that I think can make each match way more interesting too is you have a mission that's randomly chosen when you start up the match. So it'll be like, hey, on top of trying to build your house, there is a bunker somewhere in the map that you need to find and get in there and steal its the armory inside it, or there's some data in there that you need to get. So if you have two like things you can be working on, or like I'm trying to figure out like do you have to complete your mission before your house is finished? So it'll be like,
that's my question is what is the win condition and or the fail condition, right? Like, is it possible for you to be in this game for 6 hours even if you're not necessarily winning? Right? Like, let's say my house is around, it's about medium sized. I've gotten hit once or twice, but does that, if somebody makes the raid and destroys my house, am I out of the game or do I simply need to start from the bottom and start with a shack again?
I feel like your house would go back to a shack, but because you have that untouchable resource box, you can just build it back up to where it was.
So and people will have like onto the house into the storage type deal, right? You load in things into the storage stuff because you're like, I'm going to want this in the second half, but I need this to run around with my house at the beginning while I'm still out here gathering.
And then on top of gathering and stuff, there's maybe you can do at the hour mark. That's another thing we need to talk about. What happens at like certain marks in the game? Because it'll be like, hey, at the 1 hour mark, this thing happens. Like this thing drops.
We use the Kirby air ride system. So the way that you're right. There needs to be like timers and like world events. And I think that when those world events happen, there's like an event with like some sort of MacGuffin. And perhaps by the end of the play session, whoever has the most MacGuffins wins. So you run around with your house. You're slowly putting things into your inventory. This is how like maybe the higher level of play happens. You're running around. You're throwing stuff in your inventory, you're building up your house, you see the little alert at the bottom. Volcano will erupt, MacGuffin will be released. And you're like, okay, I know there's going to be a MacGuffin at the volcano in 20 minutes. I need to build my house and change my entire game plan to go buy that MacGuffin. Now, at those moments, this is where a lot of the destruction is going to happen because you'll have so many players converging on the volcano to try to get that MacGuffin.
Yeah.
This is where a lot of violence happens. This is where a lot of destruction happens. This is where some houses will be broke down.
Yeah, and that's the thing you're prepping for too, is because like you don't want your house to be so unequipped that it can't defend itself. So it's like this gamble of like, if my house is like really good and spec'd out, like, hey, you gave it some weapons, or I don't know what the weapons would look like. Maybe it's just like added branches, or I don't know. But if there, like, something happens and it lures every single AI and a player's house to one location, and then it just becomes this giant fucking pit of fighting, and it's like, also there's a bunch of like especially in like the abandoned city section, there's just going to be people running around walls, grappling hook other people's houses, running in and like stealing, like stealing shit from inside the house or whatever.
But whoever gets the MacGuffin takes the MacGuffin, and the MacGuffin will maybe be put in their inventory or something. Maybe there's like MacGuffin stealing items, but maybe the MacGuffin works a little bit like a star in Mario Party. This is the point. This is the whole thing that this game is built around, is this MacGuffin.
Interesting.
So now we have these 4-hour play sessions that can be built around your house, constantly growing, shrinking based on general play flow. You can always be in the race to get this MacGuffin.
Okay, so what is it called when a house, like, because it's ribbons, right? Like when a house is like, your yard is beautiful, you got like the beautiful house ribbon. Okay. So that's the thing that they're collecting. So they're trying to get the most ribbons. So everybody by default, if they do their randomly chosen mission, everybody has access to a minimum of 1 ribbon. And then those ribbons are what translates to like in between game current like stuff. Like, hey, if you have 5 ribbons, you can buy an ability that makes you spawn with 20 extra supplies at the beginning of every game. So you buy these power-ups that better your chances at the beginning of games. And then,
I think that there should not be a way for you to affect gameplay with these ribbons tied to your account. Is that what you're proposing?
Really?
Here's what I think. Like I love the idea. Let me hit you with this, because I think that the flow state of these 6-hour game sessions needs to be pristine, so as to not create a world where people that play it more just do better. What I think that these ribbons are used for is cosmetics.
Cosmetics?
And these cosmetics are how you upgrade and change the interior of your house. Every time you launch into the game, every time you respawn, you have to be in your house. Why not upgrade it? Why not make it look a little bit prettier?
Well, that's the thing that you're upgrading. It'd be like, hey, because each house has like different phases of like where it's at in its building. Like it starts off as a shack, and then an apartment, and then like a small house, and then 2-story house. You can dictate like what it looks like during those stages. It'll be like, hey, I want like when my house gets to full mansion, it's gonna be like a haunted Gothic Victorian mansion-looking house from Scooby-Doo.
And if the house gets bigger, there's more ways to defend it from inside the house, right? Like, let's say that once you hit the 2-story, you get a turret up top. And now you can kind of with those ribbons, you can customize what that turret looks like. Not necessarily how it's going to change. That would be a part that you need to go steal from somebody.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, interesting. So is there a way or a world where like could you steal like cosmetics from other players? Like it'll be like, hey, I really love that person's like, because now it's going in, we got to kind of go back to the submission a little bit, where you're hunting houses. Like you're hunting houses to supplies for your own, but like say somebody has a really cool like chimney.
Yeah. I think you can grab. Oh, I see what you mean. No, I don't think that you can steal parts of people's houses forever. You can steal parts of people's houses for the current build, but not necessarily for the long term. You would need to unlock that chimney if you like it.
Okay. So then the gameplay loop is you spawn in, you're doing some hunting, either hunting like little small tiddly bit like little AI houses or other people's like primary houses. And in between that, you have other missions that you can do. Is like, hey, go to the abandoned city and hack this terminal, or go to the abandoned city, go to this bunker, go to the construction site and get the engines up and running. Like just doing the purpose of the missions are because those can be points of conflict.
We need to keep players moving towards each other and away from each other, and give them little bonuses and little objectives so that they can get a little item here or an item there. I threw it out
Mm-hmm.
sort of surprisingly, but I do think that Kirby Air Ride is a great example. There's going to be
How do you
maps and
mean?
there's going to be little maps and like secret spots that people will know about to go grab power ups and items for their house. You mentioned that these mission
Mm-hmm.
objectives are a good would be a way to get players somewhere so they could do a little thing and get a bonus. There's going to be little secret
Mm-hmm.
ones that players will just sort of know off the back, like, oh, I have this objective to go turn on these boosters, but I know that if I go underground, there's a secret chest under there that I'm going to go ahead and grab.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay, cool. And I'm wondering if like people could have fun with their houses too. Of like, would it be that they all have legs, or is that, like actually that'd be kind of cool if like that was like the consistent detail is like all of the houses had like wooden legs or something.
Which could upgrade
Um.
based on materials that you get. If you go out and you get a bunch of concrete, you can come back to your house, activate the little house menu, and say upgrade legs front to concrete. And now you're
Yeah, they move
and now
slower, but
it's gonna
they
be
have
slower.
way
It's
more
way
armor.
sturdier. You're never gonna knock that bad boy over.
Oh, that's the thing. That's the thing. You can't steal materials from it until you knock it over. Because that's like in Monster Hunter, right? Where it's like you can do max damage when the monster is knocked on its side, right?
Yeah,
like
well,
that's where you start
that's
doing crits
generally
and shit.
because it's easier to get to its weak points, and yeah, it's easier to kick its ass when it's on
Yeah.
the floor.
So you can't knock material off of the house until it's knocked over. So you have to take
Yes,
out
you
its
have
legs
to trip
first,
the house
and then
first.
yeah. Yeah, and then you can start like knocking material off in every hit,
I think
and
that
it's like one of
the
those things
trips,
of like it.
the trips can be done with the grappling hook system that we've created. Either maybe you grab something and you have to wrap around it a couple of times. Maybe if it's really
Trip
early,
it like an ATT,
yeah,
or
like an
AT-AT or whatever.
yeah, or maybe just at the beginning of the game. It is easy enough to just throw your grappling hook somewhere and just trip it normally because it's the early rounds.
Oh, dude, that's cool. Oh, that's cool because that's how you have to take out the little AI like shacks that are wandering around. Is you have to like you just like loop it around its feet or whatever, and it trips, and then bam, you can go collect its material.
But then by late game,
then-
when somebody has a giant house that has like 8 legs, like you might need a couple players to come together and wrap that bad boy up.
Oh, basic. Oh, we didn't even think about that because like. Oh my God, AJ! There should be a mechanic in this game where it's teams and it's all of you sharing a house. Like we call it like roommate royale, and
Oh, that rules.
So it's like you have different teams that are all trying to build their sweet fucking.
Oh God, yeah.
like,
Wait, hold on. What if
YouTuber
it
house.
is? What if it's not one person in one building? What if it is teams of 4? Hold on, that changes everything. What if it is teams of 4 building up the house? Because then you can have somebody here at home kind of upgrading where you want to build things on. I'm gonna go out and get a bunch of materials for
yeah.
you. I'm gonna bring it back. You're
Yeah.
kind of the floor plan guy. You go ahead and build this thing out. It's teams of
Yeah,
4
who's
in
our
this big
interior
arena.
design person?
Exactly.
Yeah. And then that's cool because then because like but even though you're on a team actually no, it's not that everybody gets individual objectives. It's like you get instead of one person doing their one objective, it's like because it's a team of 4, you have 4 team objectives that you
Yes,
need to do.
everybody
that
gets a
require
different
multiple
objective, and
people.
you can decide whether or not you're going to go over and like do that as a group, or if one person's going to
Yeah.
handle it, or maybe 2 people are like, "Hey, I see this mission
Yeah.
on the other side of the map. I want to go do that, but that might take a little while." Yes. This rules. This kicks so much more ass as a 4-player co-op game.
Well, I think you can do different levels of it because you can do the solo game. I think that works. You can do duos, and then you can do like a 4-player thing. Like all of them are totally possible. It just like would dictate like I'm imagining the gunfights would be way more intense in 4-player mode. You know, because it's just like it's teams going against teams. Like, dude, I know I talked about it, but like. AJ, you should totally play the hunt with me, dude. If you dig this, you would fucking love the hunt because like when you're doing multiplayer, like as a team, just that communication of being like, hey, do we want to risk it? Where do we want to go? Like it's such a good high. Like I love that shit.
I mentioned Howl's Moving Castle before as like a visual influence. I have another visual influence that I'd like to throw out there.
What you thinking?
That I'm thinking because we were talking about the idea of being able to attach turrets to your building once it hits the second story and stuff like that. How are we feeling about Codename Kids Next Door? Codename Kids Next Door.
It does have that kind of vibe, doesn't it?
Yeah, like this, kind of thrown together rigmarole. Like, we're just gonna see what kind of throws together. Like this Howl's Moving Castle, Codename Kid Next Door aesthetic with their weapons and their guns, and the houses.
I like
especially.
that. but it's all the pieces are rusted. It's like this very, it feels like remember the art from Tales from the Loop, where it's just like a bunch of beautiful machinery that's just like in the snow and rusted and overgrown.
Yeah.
But it's like this weird sci-fi, it's overgrown like sci-fi aesthetic. That's what I'm kind of thinking, because that would be like, because if we're going off of this is an abandoned city, like that implies that you know, something terrible happened. Like this is kind of an apocalypse in a way, right? So I feel like there would be some overgrown elements, and that's why I think House Moving Castle works, because it implies that aesthetic, like pretty hardcore to me, like the black iron and smoke, and yeah, this is like a cool game that I would play the shit out of pretty regularly.
All right,
God damn it, HJ.
We need to pick a nug.
We did it again.
Is this the nug?
I think. Yeah, I mean, you and I spent 20 minutes talking about it, so I'm fairly sure it's our nug.
It just rules. Yeah.
It's very good. It's fine. Alley Cat, man. Like, they've delivered. I think it's like they're one of the most consistent nug people on this podcast, like hands down.
All right.
Thank you, Alley Cat.
Thank you so much for your submissions. We need to think of a name.
So we're just calling it House Hunter? Is it just House Hunter? It's a pretty tame title. Maybe we can come up with something else. Ooh, AJ, Real Estate Royale.
Real estate's not bad. I was thinking Neighborhood Watch.
Ooh, that's kind of fun. Ooh, that's a cool. Actually, I think I like that with Neighborhood Watch. Is there a way we can mix home into this?
Home.
Yeah, like home is where the
Blake.
What's up?
Homewreckers.
What's up? Homewreckers. All right, yeah, that's it. Homewreckers.
Homewreckers is it.
Fucking sweet, dude. Hell yeah, dude. I love this. This is a cool ass game.
We did it again. Damn it. Let's go to patch notes.
Yeah, let's go to patch notes. Hey everybody, welcome to Patch Notes. We just want to say a very, very quick thing that's very exciting. We're gonna open a fucking merch store. We reached our Patreon goal of $75 a month, and thanks to a couple of people I know that just made some big donations in the past month. Caleb, thank you. Gazer, thank you. We also got another person that just came onto the Patreon this month. Gabe, thank you. We are so fucking excited. We're gonna be doing T-shirts. We're gonna people have been asking for mugs that say "Fuck Jerry from accounting." I think that one's a very fun one.
Absolute ringer. I adore the idea of creating a fictional character in universe that we all hate. We hate Jerry. This rules. And Blake and I are so excited and so grateful to all of you for your continued support and letting us get to this point with this project. We're super excited to launch the store. It is going to take us a couple weeks or so to just work out the exact technicals on how to get that store up, but do expect to see announcements and official releases about that very, very soon.
Yeah, probably the beginning of next month.
Yeah, and again, thank you all so much for your support. It means a whole lot. And we're so excited to drop this on you guys and experiment with it. It's new stuff for all of us.
Yeah, AJ and I were talking basically earlier this week because we feel like things were a little bit hectic for us, like definitely at the beginning of this year.
Why would they be hectic? Just because we've gone through two crazy political fall parts in our lives by the time we're 24? Why would things be crazy? Because we're unable to get property at our age at the point that we're supposed to be coming into our own as complete grown-ups? Why would things be crazy?
But you know, having this podcast is definitely, and I think I can speak for both of us in this one, having this podcast is just like guaranteed every Sunday we have a good time, and it gives us something to look forward to. And as I know for me, it's like it's given me something to be like, hey, you know, things might be crazy right now, but at least I get to do this awesome thing I really love. And the fact that people like you are listening and supporting us, and you know, and just hanging out with us, like that just means the fucking world to us. And I'm so happy that you guys are here and hanging out with us, and we're not stopping anytime soon. Like this is it's always just the beginning of something even new and bigger, and I'm so excited to see it. Like,
And-
I think some really cool shit's gonna happen soon.
Yeah, and of course, just because like we've hit this benchmark, Blake and I are still committed to wanting to make sure that as much of the Patreon money is turned back into this project as possible, which means we gotta hunt down some other ways to passively dump this money into stuff. So if you guys have any ideas for other things you'd like to see us do, other benchmarks we can set for ourselves, by all means, shout those out to us. We would love to know.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening this week.
As always, our intro and outro song is Cheap Shot by Anna Monoguchi, an excellent song from an excellent band for an excellent game. I have been one of your hosts, AJ Hart.
And I have been your other host, Blake Rea.
This has been Spiritual Successor, and these are cool games
That should not be made.